Hey guys, what's up? It's Kat here. I was actually going to sit down and film this in my studio, but I'm actually kind of like on my way out the door right now because I am trying to get into the Acolyte pre-screening. It is Monday. The show comes out tomorrow, but I actually got an RSVP just in time. I literally within 20 minutes of when Star Wars posted that they were going to be having free screenings at select theaters across the states, I was like, thank God I'm chronically online, that I was able to see it in time. Secured 2 tickets, but it's still, I think it's still not entry guaranteed. It's like a first come, first serve situation. So I've been sitting here all day kind of driving myself a little bit crazy. Like I think I'm driving myself into a little bit of an unnecessary panic, but like you never know. It's like 3 hours out. It's literally still 3 hours away, but I'm going now. I have the means. I'm gonna try to go. I'm gonna hold down the Fort C. But also Tom and I have a huge knack. Like we're actually really bad, especially living in Los Angeles and not having been raised here. Like we've been here for 4 years and we still are guilty of assuming that there won't be crazy lines or crowds anywhere that we're going, and then it is crazy when we show up. So I'm trying to beat that by being 3 hours early. That I know that sounds crazy and hopefully it is. Like I hope I show up and I'm like the first person there and that the liaison giving out the tickets is like, what the frick are you doing here? That's best case scenario. But especially with Star Wars fans and especially in Los Angeles, when you combine those circumstances, I feel like nothing's too hasty and when it comes to preparation and locking down your spot in line. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take you guys along with me and vlog this because while yes, the benefit of being able to go and hopefully get in to see this in the theater for a pre-screening the day before, I'm so freaking stoked. However, that means I won't of course be able to film my raw initial reaction, but I'll still be, I'll keep you guys in touch. I'm not going to get footage in the theater obviously, but I'm going to get myself and Tom of course fresh immediate reactions after seeing it on the big screen. I do apologize that, I chose to do this instead of filming my reaction. That was a sacrifice I was willing to make to be able to go, especially after seeing that preview that they shared at the Phantom Menace screening. I remember even saying that, like, I wish we could see this entire show on a movie screen in a theater. I do apologize there won't be any reactions, but that was a trade I was willing to make. But I will still keep you guys posted and film my thoughts afterwards. So let's go. Let's go see what the situation is and hold down the fort.
Thou shalt show no fear. In the mighty eyes of the Lord I shall hold my post. This is where I make my stand. I shall not abandon my post.
2 hours later.
What's up, everybody? It's the night before the Acolyte premieres on Disney+. Got home from work, and my wife, aka Catherine, aka Kat, is nowhere to be found. So, turns out she is at our local movie theater in a queue right now to go see a screening tonight, 24 hours before it actually drops on Disney+, to go see the first 2 episodes of the Acolyte. So, got the lucky shirt on, and gonna go tag up with her. See y'all there. Found her. We made it, ladies and gentlemen. We're here.
Waiting in line for 3 hours paid off.
We're chowing. Some delicacies. Bang.
Cheers. New merch. I don't even know how good the audio is gonna be. It's probably not gonna be amazing, but holy frick! that doesn't mean anything. Maul didn't show up, but that's just holy frick. Initial thoughts. It's freaking Star Wars. It's new, but it's freaking Star Wars.
Perfectly linear story.
Yes.
I mean, it
yes.
doesn't miss a beat. It just comes firing right out of the gate.
And keeps going.
And keeps going through the first 2 episodes.
No distractions, gets right freaking to it. Freaking good. You're not bored for a second.
No.
Not bored for a freaking second.
No, it's intense, action-packed, dark. It's a compelling mystery. I mean,
it's an ensemble piece, lots of different side plots going on, lots of different characters, but you're never lost as if you don't know anybody. More. We'll have more. This is just our initial.
Yeah. We literally just walked out of the theater there. Just came out, just got through the screening. First 2 episodes.
After camping out for 3 hours. Worth it. Okay, well, this is a little bit different. I know it's not a reaction today, folks, but unfortunately I sacrificed filming my actual reaction for getting to see the first 2 episodes of The Acolyte on the big screen after, as I documented, sprinting to the theater to wait for 3 hours in line, which, throwback to when I said that was maybe me being hasty and panicking for no reason and I was driving myself into a state of unnecessary paranoia, it was warranted because I got there and we secured one of the first spots in line while there were actually already other people there. I knew, thankfully, because there were some folks there dressed up as Jedi with their lightsabers. Oh my gosh. We spend so much time online, so we only see so much of the internet energy when it comes to the fandom, which I don't think is a reflection of the actual fandom in real life when you get to be in the company, the presence of other actual Star Wars fans. So we got to sit and bask in that energy for a solid. I did. I got to camp out, command my post, and this guy got to just roll in, but
So we saw The Acolyte.
yes,
We saw the first couple episodes.
Yes.
We gave some initial live out of the gate thoughts outside the movie theater.
yeah, apologies for all of the iffy and questionable audio and camera footage leading up to this point. Obviously, when we're not in studio, we can't control all of that, but we wanted to come back and sit down, share our thoughts. There's nothing like seeing Star Wars on the big screen, man, and I really wish that they would just do this for every freaking episode. I cannot believe we have to go back to just real life of watching the next few weeks on Disney Plus. I'm almost, normally in this moment, we would both be reeling from the usual, like, I can't believe we have to wait a week. But I'm so distracted by just how amazing it is to watch Star Wars on a theatrical, in a theater with other fans on a big screen. Like, that's not even a thought in my mind. I'm not like, oh my god, we have to wait. Like, yeah, the show is amazing and I can't wait to keep watching, but I'm not reeling like I usually am. I'm just like so full of gratitude that we actually got to see that we got lucky and that we could have that experience with other fans. It's not harder necessarily to formulate thoughts about this, but it's everything so new. It's so new yet so familiar. Like, all of the trepidations about this show, like, how's it gonna feel? What's the vibe gonna be like going in? Immediately subside the second it starts, because it's like, it's still freaking Star Wars. It still feels there, and I think the fact that they filmed so much on location, actual sets, built the actual worlds for this, helps to ease you into that, so it still feels like a real tangible place, as opposed to if they used the volume for all of this, which don't think they did at all. First 2 episodes at least.
You can't tell. If they did, you can't tell. It does look visually, I think it's the best that they've done in their Disney Plus show format. I mean, it looks so cinematic, and yes, we saw it in the cinema.
That could be biased,
but really, there wasn't a single moment that I can think of in the first 2 episodes where it wasn't on par with traditional Star Wars cinematic quality. Both visuals, practicality, sound design, the score, everything was top-notch quality in terms of the actual production value of this thing. And every single world was so different and vibrant and unique, and it was all kind of stuff that we haven't seen before. And the creature design and just the liveliness and the Star Wars feel of every planet that you go to was off the charts. It was I think setting a new bar for what the Disney Plus shows are going to be going forward, which is fantastic because it was really, really impressive.
Whereas if this entire thing were filmed on the volume, which isn't a bad thing, we are not volume haters here, but there's something about just practicality in real world and real life sets that I think lend itself so perfectly, especially to going into uncharted cinematically, you know, film and television canon-wise, uncharted territory when it comes to the Star Wars universe. If it were to feel unfamiliar and then it's an evident green screen, you know, the fact that these are real world places makes it just feel all the more tangible, and then it just completely eradicates, like, immediately you're not even thinking like, oh my god, this is so far in the past. I almost like forgot about that, because when you think about it in the grand scheme of history, like 100 years, especially in the Star Wars universe, it's not gonna create that such a huge disconnect in your brain as you're feeling it, like watching it, thinking like this feels so separated and so different. It doesn't feel freaking separated at all. And I say that, I know I've been preaching that I'm excited. That's what I'm most excited about with this show. Going back in time, seeing a new era, a new timeline, new places, new faces. I know I've been preaching that, so here I am saying, yeah, it doesn't feel that separated from Star Wars as we know it, but I think that is a good thing. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form feel like an outlier in that regard, like it doesn't belong. It's Star Wars. It feels like freaking Star Wars. I think the real world, the sets, the time they put in, the practicality, the aliens, that's something we were talking about as well. There's so many different species in this show, and with the main freaking cast as well. That's the other thing too. It's such
My favorite Star Wars is when it's not just about one person. You guys have heard me preach that over and over like a broken record, but I love where this is going in regards to so many characters at play. The other thing too that could have been tricky about this show is they're introducing, you don't know anybody, except for of course some of the High Republic characters like Master Vernestra and whatnot, but everyone else is new and you're being freshly introduced to them. But I feel like they get started on just even subtle hints of character development the second you meet these characters. It's only been 2 episodes, but I remember everyone's names, and that for me is like a huge litmus test. Like if I can't remember people's names, who's who, that is a sign that they're like they're not important enough for my brain to cling on to, you know, versus like I remember we meet like at least 10 new people. I remember every single person's name. They're already starting character development for everybody, even in subtle ways. I don't know how they're doing it because they're making it look effortless, but you immediately are starting to just get ingrained so that there is this sense of familiarity with this time period and all these new people and places and faces.
I mean, they started rolling and you're just in it from the beginning, and you don't get pulled out of it for a second for any reason. The story is so compelling and mysterious. And I mean, the pedal is all the way to the floor the entire time. I mean, it's just one cohesive story, one storyline, you know, sewing the different threads of the story. But it's ultimately all going to one place, and not a single moment of screen time was wasted in terms of pushing the story forward and developing the characters and setting the tone. So they set the tone, and I'm all in on the tone, and you're in for a mysterious, dark, lurking in the shadows, something is up. So I'm locked in. I'm totally locked in, convinced.
I think that's the biggest, honestly, the most important thing you could have said. The fact that you're already locked in. It's only been 2 episodes worth, yet we're already invested, which again is a testament to how effortlessly they've been able to do this while literally having a huge challenge that none of the other Disney Plus shows have had, which is you're dealing with characters nobody knows, all of these roles from scratch, you know, having all this creative freedom and imagination to roam free and build so much of that from scratch, but then you have to work to get people to care about them, and they've somehow done that effortlessly. It could also be the incredible marketing that has preceded the release of this show. I think has paid off so much, especially because this is newfound territory for us in Star Wars. So perhaps it's that we've also just been seeing new TV spots every day. Every time I go on to Twitter or Instagram, I feel like the official Star Wars account posted something new, a new clip. I almost had to just stop watching because I feel like they were releasing so much to build the hype of this show. But now that I've watched it, I think also it was tactical in order to get you to feel like you already know all these people, you already are along for the ride. Of course, that's the other thing too, just seeing just obviously more Jedi. However, I do think it's very interesting that they're not necessarily milking that in the way that they could. Like, you could easily just take advantage of the fact that you're working with more Jedi on screen than we've seen in a very long time, and you could just ride the coattails of that. But I like that they're not necessarily doing that. It's not just about the Jedi. I think they're painting a picture of where the Jedi now fit into the larger scheme of the world at this time, and the way that they're approaching it here. You know, I think we're going to learn more about their actual public image, their political standing. You know, they alluded to some of their like political enemies, but if anything, they've kind of poised it in a way where you're like, you know, something is internally not necessarily corrupt. You're not questioning the Jedi, but you know that they're not as prim and proper as they would like to perhaps perceive themselves.
Everything's story driven. There wasn't a single thing that came out of the show where you're like, oh wow, they just shoehorned that in there. Like, no, every single decision that they've shown on screen so far in the first 2 episodes is purely story driven, and when there needs to be a lightsaber, there needs to be a lightsaber. When there needs to be the Force, there needs to be the Force.
Nothing's
but nothing's
gratuitous.
shoehorned. Nothing stands out as, oh wow, that was someone just checking off a box of cool factor. Like, it is all you are so invested in the story and what's going on, and it all looks stunning and it all looks dazzling and action-packed.
Everything that they're utilizing right now to get you drawn in. They had the hardest battle ahead of them, and they're making it work. We're only 2 episodes in, but it kicks it right in and keeps going. Now it's kicking in that we have a week to wait. Also, just shout out Disney Plus, please do this more often. The theatrical releases, like, I think they're starting to like scratched the tip of the iceberg. They did it with Ahsoka. I think it's amazing, and it's just a great reminder, like, when you go and actually get to not only be in the presence of other Star Wars fans in real life and not just on the internet, but enjoy a new piece of media with them. Please just do it more often.
No.
It's so unbeatable. It's just so incredible. May the Force be with you. Oh, somebody just subscribed. Shout out to a punderful man who just subscribed. Thank you so much. We caught it live. I'll see you guys in the next one, but until then, may the Force be with you guys always, and we'll see you guys again very, very soon.
Hope everybody enjoys the first couple episodes.
Bye, guys.